What's up, peers, and welcome to the World Crypto Network. Here to the show, open source, everything. And this is going to be an exciting one. What could we possibly talk about? Oh yeah, it's here, the Purism. We've waited for it a long, long time, and now we finally have it. I'm not alone, so that's really cool. I'm joined here by a peer who has also a Purism laptop. Rico, what's up?
Oh man, I'm enjoying the grass is greener definitely on the other side. I feel great, man. Welcome. Thank you for having me. Honestly, I was so stoked when I got mine. I wouldn't even be holding on to this weapon of mass security, mass censorship resistance. And mate, honestly, thank you so much for having me. This is a pleasure to be here. Hello from Paris, first of all, and I'm stoked, man. I've already unboxed mine, so anybody who hasn't seen it, go to my YouTube channel, go check it out. And I'm here to see the mass this beautiful Purism laptop.
Oh yes, absolutely. This really is a good one. And as you can see, at last we have it, the Purism. And Piers, I first and foremost, I really do want to thank you specifically because you made this possible with your very, very, very gracious support of the World Crypto Network here on the Tally Coin. We raised a couple Satoshis, and that made possible that we get this beautiful piece of hardware. And that is fantastic. So as promised, as a token of gratitude, no token of ICO, but definitely a token of many videos to come. So this is going to be, well, it's not the first, because as you see on the screen, we have already talked to Todd Weaver a couple times. We have already just with Rico even introduced this entire Purism run. So nice to see everything now come around. And this specifically, though, is the first video of a several multi-part series where we just check it out, right? This is a beautiful laptop, and there are different versions of it. I personally right here have the 15-inch version, the desktop replacement, and Rico, he has the 13-inch, right? That is a beauty. So as Rico said, he already has the the unboxing. Definitely check it out. It's worth looking into. And we're gonna do a similar experience here and just have a little chat while doing so. So Rico, maybe first question here. You already had a couple days with the laptop. How is it? You're muted. The classic.
This thing is, I mean, like too legit. I mean, I feel like I just got a new house. I mean, I I want to sit everywhere. I want to use this thing. I mean, I haven't had enough time. I've been super busy. I had some clients. I've got family stuff. It's Black Friday. I'm trying to get some shopping in, and I just not enough time in the day to use this beautiful technology. So first of all, I'm not a computer programmer. I don't know anything about code. I literally have been using Macs for since I have had a laptop. I've had the old MacBook G4, and it's too cool. I mean, I'm literally taking the time to, I'm downloading, I was thinking about using Brave browser or a privatized browser. I've got the Purism, VPN network. So if you pay $5 a month, you get 5 gigs per day, and that's really nice. It's through their super secure system that allows. It's actually they bounce the network through some place in Switzerland. So they even tell you that exactly they're super transparent. I set up my account. This thing is amazing. I don't know if anybody's actually been over to Purism, but they're having a 20% sale right now. And I recommend everybody who doesn't have one, if you want to save a bit of money, right now would be the time to get one. It's a Black Friday deal. Its base price is 20% off. And I really can't explain to you how good it feels to not have anybody watching me. And everything is like from open sourced from the ground up. You can't get anything more pure than this.
Oh yes, absolutely. I would say that the biggest disadvantage of this weapon of self-defense is its price. It's hefty. It is not a cheap toy. This is a tool. And well, you have to pay a price for this. And that is why I'm really glad that Purism offers here a Black Friday deal. That's quite a bit, 20%. So if you if you want to save a couple bucks, and if you think that what you see here in the next couple minutes is worth, well, check it out. And absolutely. So let's get into it. First of all, the box. What does come just the box itself? Little handle, that's nice. I was walking around Frankfurt with this little package here, and only says Purism. Front and back. So this is the no bullshit design that Purism prides itself in, and I think that's a theme in general. No bullshit, just white and matte black. So let's open it up. Ooh, you see that? Okay, that's something. That's already something. Right here, then, a little black box. Let's get that out of the way. So that's what the package comes in. Just matte black everything, as is kind of a theme for Purism. So again, pretty much it. And then let's move the camera down a little bit. So, co-working space. You see the background. Okay, so. Oh, that's it. Right on top, you see this nice tool. And here's what you've been waiting for. Oh. Little slick. Let's put that box. Well, let's first get this out of the plastic. And already, the feel is amazing. It's a full aluminum chassis with a standard size. So first thing you notice is that you do not notice a logo. So Rico, what's up with no logo? No sound. Still no sound. Okay, having some technical issues, but there is.
The reason they don't have any logo is to literally show you that they're not trying to sell a product. Okay, they're not trying to make you a marketed. Okay, they want people to come up to you and say, "What is that?" I mean, that's not Toshiba, it's not a Panasonic, it's not an Acer, it's not a Mac, but it looks like a Mac. That's the key aspect of it, is the secrecy.
Oh, okay, yes. There is a logo, but only if you choose to reveal it here on the back. So on the back, it says Purism, Librem 15. That's the 15-inch version, version 3. So third batch, they've upgraded it already. And so what we also have here in the back are some fans. So for the cooling, it's on the back. So let's see how the airflow is, and if this really. But yeah, that's nice to see. Then on. So here on the side, you see two USB 3 ports. You see one USB C port. So that is the little both upside and downside port. You also have an HDMI port, so you can connect to your to all the other screens that you like. And of course, the biggest and most badass aspect right here, the little go off, go dark. Cut all the power to microphone, cable, Wi-Fi, and basically put it into true. This is in my opinion one of the nicest features. But Rika, what do you say about here, especially the toggling on and off camera buttons?
That's pretty much the most important part. I mean, if you think about it, that's the reason they're going to go into the whole purism, okay? Every single one of you are buying microphones that have been tampered with so that when you use it, they're actually listening to everything you do. And there's an article that I read that Siri was found out about some crime report because she had recorded the entire thing happening. So every time you buy a mass corporation computer, that's what it's for. It's not for anything but to spy on you. It's a key to your privacy. And this is a key to your security.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Very right. So this is my microphone is always cutting out. I'm sorry, Piers. Hopefully this new laptop is going to fix that as well. But as I said, this is a tool, and I do believe that these two little switches right here, they don't look like much, but you wonder, why does not every laptop, why does not every device have that? If you have a microphone and a camera on apparently, quote unquote, your hardware, well, why can you not turn it off? Let alone even just the aspect that you theoretically just could put a little like flap on top, like I have with this camera. I can just close it. That's something, right? Why doesn't that every laptop have, right? And why does this camera always need to watch me? Why does the microphone always need to be able to record? This here is different. You're muted.
No, I completely agree with you. It's something that is really shocking to think about. It's like having a car that computers can control, or anything in your house that you don't actually have control over. That's it's really shocking to think that we actually have to pay a little extra, or you have to find a distributor that does that. And they're the first, the only, and I think this is the future. They've got a really strong, promising future for that. And I never thought of it the way you explained it, that the fact that you should be able to silence yourself. You have to go and do that. And that's the point of having purism. That's the point of this whole thing. It's like it's the future, you guys. It's the future you're looking at right now. And I think with your position on how you are sharing this with the World Crypto Network, a lot of people are going to go ahead and step up to bat with the same exact need and want. And if you guys head over to Purism, it is Black Friday, so you get 20% off. And I don't believe it's very expensive if you use your Bitcoin, although you could use fiat, and it's free shipping in America.
Only in America, though. Well, then on continuing here on the other side of the device, we have some more USB, but this time Type 2, so no USB 3. A bit slower, but hey, of course the power jack right here. And then really important, and that is something that actually did surprise me, it's a headphone jack, but no microphone jack. So there's, if you want to have separate inputs for your separate outputs, or well, the separate output for your headphones and a separate input for your microphone, you're going to need a splicing device, a little cable, which costs like or so. So this shouldn't be an issue. But be aware, no separate microphone jack. And then the SD card slot right here. Nico, still muted?
Yeah, that's kind of something nice. And when you actually get to use it, you're gonna see that the settings inside are extremely user-friendly. You can turn it off, even just using your keyboard. You can use the kill switches. You can use the Purism Smart Key, which is going to access pretty much anything and everything. I mean, this thing is almost too easy to use. Where, I mean, I thought Apple's were easy to use, But this thing, you just push one button and you have the entire thing at your hands, wanting to know what you're looking for. And it actually comes with a MIDI setup. So you've got, not only do you have it in the settings, you can turn it up, but you can also go into your MIDI and choose where you want the sound to come from. It's incredible. It's incredible, guys.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, you know what? Let's open it up. And we see, it's right. You're not going to see the screen first.
I have to say that it's pretty hard to open up. The manifold is super strong.
Oh, yes, that is very... That sound is killing me. Okay, let's open it up. It is a sturdy hinge. It's a high quality hinge. But as you see, matte black everything. You might get a couple fingerprints, especially as you see this in the camera. Not so much when you watch in with your meat space eyes, but apparently the camera does pick up a couple fingerprints, just so you know. Okay, turning it around. Oh. Here you go. That is it. So, right from the get-go, that is the satisfying part of any unboxing. Watch. I can't unpeel it.
No, this thing is built like a tank. You're going to have to sit down and do some diligence. This thing is solid.
It truly is. Okay, so gonna fiddle around with it a bit later. But then, of course, what we also see is right here, no windows. So, but only the Purism key, right? So, what exactly does Rico? What is that key for?
So this thing is like the smart key. It does pretty much everything. I mean, you can control that whole thing with that one button. It'll pull up a question bar, so you can literally, it pulls up this little bar and you can type in anything and it pull it up, whether it's an application, a browser, the settings. If you have an application that you use constantly, it'll pull up that as well. And then it pulls up every window in the back. It's amazing. It's not like anything I've ever seen. And you have the full keyboard, which is really nice. It's can replace your desktop. You don't even need a desktop with that thing.
Oh, absolutely. This is called the desktop replacement. And I do believe that this is absolutely right. I want to say thank you to Casso20% in the chat, who has apparently donated a couple Satoshis to both Rico and me. So thank you very much. That is amazing. You're the best. Thank you very
Casso,
much.
you really are the best. Thank you, mate.
Very cool. Okay. Then the 15-inch version does have a number pad right here, right? And Rico, you have the 13-inch. Does it fit on there?
You know what? The 13 doesn't. It's still pretty big for a 13-inch laptop. No, it doesn't. That's kind of something nice to have. And this is the Road Warrior, so it's not that big. And what you have is a that's for business. That's for making a statement.
Yes, absolutely. And then we also do have a rather large, I can barely see that, a rather large touchpad. So this is really nice. Feels good. It's all the way clicky, so you can click anywhere in it, not just here on the bottom. So that is cool. Rico, you had a couple experience.
Well, so
You had a
yeah, so the trackpad is made very. I think that's one of the things that they they might outsource because at the top it's really soft and at the bottom it's a little bit more solid. They have a setting where you can actually do scrolling on the side. This trackpad has so many settings. You can do triple clicking, double clicking, you can do single scrolling, you can do shifting, like if you want to throw things to the side. The trackpad alone it's a very powerful trackpad. It's probably the most advanced trackpad I've seen in a laptop.
Very nice. And you both have a Apple book, right? And now the Purism. And of course, Apple prides itself in having one of these amazing touchpads. So maybe comparing the two, which do you think is better, the Apple touchpad or the Purism touchpad?
Well, I have to say the Apple's touchpad is a lot softer. Even the Apple's keyboard is a lot softer, but the Purism 13-inch has a solid feel to it. It literally feels like a weapon. I feel like I'm using a military grade computer. Like it doesn't feel like a flimsy laptop. Even when you're opening it, you can't open it without two fingers. I mean, with two hands. And this thing is literally solid. I mean, when I pick it up, it's not like you're just lifting up with something a little light. This is a solid piece of equipment. You really feel the power. The power.
Ultimate control. Ultimate self-sovereignty. Absolutely.
It is the Force.
Well, but it is all. So is it the dark force? Well, hopefully not.
Well, it's kind of a dark force against the darkest forces. I mean, if you think about it, every single one of us is being watched, okay? Inside of the computers, there's a backdoor to everybody's chips, where there's security, and Todd talks about this in his website, and I talk about it on my on my unboxing as well. But if you guys look, I'm giving you guys a little display of the 15, and it literally talks about how it's made to be impenetrable. A censorship, in you can't. I can't explain it. It's insane how strong this is against the watchers. Really.
Yes, it really is a marvelous piece of software, and there are trade-offs. So I don't believe that it's perfect, right? It still has a Intel processor, a really good one though, but of course, right, Intel kind of shady. So I will have to ask Todd a couple more questions about all this, but at least, right, you get state-of-the-art hardware. And that in as open a form and as transparent a form as possible. So I don't think it's the perfect tool. I don't think the perfect tool has ever exist or will ever exist. But absolutely, compared to all the quote unquote competition, it just makes them eat dust. Muted.
Yeah. Well, also, it's not just about the chips. Like what they're putting on it, like you said, it's open sourced. So you can use what you got. What I didn't get was the Librem key. So it's got TPM, and what TPM literally is you can check the heads of all the processing chips and see if anything's been tampered with it or try to log in with it. And it shows every single time it's been messed with. And you can reset it, you can preset it, and pre-lock it, which is nice. And then if it comes with a 1-year warranty, you can send it into Purism if you don't have the key, and they'll take care of that for you. And the best part, when you open it up and start using it, which I can't wait till you turn it on, it has like minimal applications. And not only that, but it has a huge database. Well, not huge, probably like 30 to 80 applications that are running on the Purism protocol. So I got the Cube OS upgrade if I wanted to use it, because I've heard really good things about Cube OS, but it's way above me. Like I'm swimming in the deep end with this. I have got so much to learn. I've been nursed and babysat by the Apple.
Yes, exactly. Apple, is the nanny. It's going to take care of you. This is for the sovereign individual that does not like to be represented, but present himself and take back control and ownership. But before we turn this on, let's see what else is in the box. First, we have a little quick start guide for the laptops. So everything you need to know or want to know about the Purism laptops. Pages, lots of pages. Pretty words, pretty pictures. Not gonna read that on air because that would be boring as hell. So got that off. But then, of course, the regular old charger has a little dangling box here as well. Plugs in. And of course, the country-specific plugin as well. So I live in Germany as a European plugin. But then here comes the really, really interesting part, as Nico said already. This little right here, the Librem key. And this basically plug into any Purism device. So either the Librem 13 and 15 laptops, or already said in the chat, the Librem 5, the upcoming phone. Has a little LED light up here. If it flashes green, then nothing has been tampered with. The hard and software are still intact. If it flashes red, someone was at your hardware trying to mess something. So you should double check. So nice little tool here. I do believe it's worth getting, and let's see later how it works and how it looks like. Feels really nice. So Rico, you have one of these as well, right?
Believe it or not, I didn't get the I didn't get one just because well, if I really felt like that I was gonna have any issues with that tampering, then I would just send it into Purism. No, actually, I didn't even have to deal with that. I paid a little extra, or my parents paid a little extra, and it was shipped with high security. It was a little extra, and when they got it, it was directly from California, and they live in Oregon, so it was a quick ride. Actually, it went from California to Oregon, and then went back to California to go international, and then it came directly here. So, and I had it shipped to a company, a private company, so I didn't have to deal with any of that mess because I've had packages opened and messed with. Not a big fan of people opening my packages and going through them, and it hadn't been tampered with. So I didn't get the key. I put my Satoshis just to the computer and the Cube OS. But it does state that if you want to have it looked at, they can do that. And I don't even think you have to send it in. You can actually have it. They can do it just via online.
Okay. Well, as always, right? And of course, this is a nice little gimmick and quite cool to have. But yeah, if you always have an eye on your laptop, I don't think it's necessary. But if you're often at airports or something, really good to have this with you. So, the moment for which we have all been waiting for, going to press, and for the first time, power up self-defense. Let's see how it goes. I hope it has battery. Otherwise, got to plug it in. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. God, something's happening. Oh. And the initial setup. Very cool. Pure OS. Some lines. Initial boot, which is cool. And here we go. So, nice little backdrop, and we're gonna let it finish with the setup. But Rico.
So when you first get it, it's going to have you put in two different codes. You have your hard code, okay? Now the hard code is like my hard code's pretty long. And then you have your day code, which when you just put in when every time it goes to sleep. You've got a simple code, but the hard code is for the keys, for the security. That's going to be it's kind of like your private key. The thing you're not really going to push very much. And the cool thing about it is you don't have to turn it off every single time. It's not like your normal computer where you need to turn it off every single time. Once you turn it off, and you make sure that before you turn it off, you make sure that the Wi-Fi is off and stuff. You can even put the kill switches on. Solid, absolutely solid. And yeah, but just for that, just gonna announce this real quick. I'm wearing a knight's hat, you guys, because this is I feel like I'm a knight right now, dark knight. No, but seriously, this is a knight's hat. It looks like that in the back, but it's handmade as well. Anyways, so yes, winter is definitely in Paris. It was snowing this last week, and there's a bit of ice on my patio. Anyways, long story short, so what I was going to say is you have two codes. You've got your private code, that's like your security key, and then you've got your punch-in code where every single time you put it back to sleep or put it back on, if it just goes down, you've got your simple day code. So yeah, it's quite nice. Very interesting. It's simple to set up once you got your codes in, but once you do that, like, I mean, you can upload any kind of Linux on there you want. You can put CubeOS, which I haven't even gone into that. I've literally had this thing since Tuesday, I think, and I did the unboxing, and after that I was like, I had clients and I had just family events, and it was just nonstop. So today was kind of like the first time I really got to get into it and delve into it. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not a computer programmer, and I just didn't I really didn't know what I was doing. So even with the browser, I'm just trying to figure out if I'm going to use Brave browser or Firefox or Mozilla. And maybe in the chat, you guys can shout out what you guys use or what you recommend for the secure browser. They have their Pure Browser OS, which is pretty cool too, but I have to upgrade it because I can't use it to chat because it's a bit old. And like I said, I'm not a computer savvy. So it's like so advanced that you have to know how to upload things. You can't just you don't just go to a website and you push download. It's not like that. You have to program it to download. You're only given the like the GitHub, and then you have to figure it out yourself. And I don't know what I was doing on that part. So.
Oh yes, it's always a bit tricky to get into all these open source software, and sometimes it's not as let's say approachable as other stuff. So I'm currently, as you can see here, I'm currently in the setup process. That is saying which language I want to choose, which for me is English, and which keyboard setup, and the location service. So the question here is, it allows applications to determine your geographical location. An indication is shown when location service is in use. As I do not want to have this on by default, I will not turn it on, right? I do not need to know that. I do not want that Google Maps, which I'm not going to run on this piece anyway, does know where I am. If they want to know, they can ask me and I can type it in. So I'm going to press next here. And next is, of course, the time zone, which Berlin time zone. And the name of this device, as I name all my laptops after true heroes of liberty, this one is absolutely going to be called Murray, for Murray Rothbard.
Nice.
Well, he's a big reason why I'm in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is a big reason why I'm getting this one here. Also could have named it Satoshi, but well, I am Satoshi and my laptop is not. So.
So I was reading the chat. People, I'm glad no one's sold. We're all hodling. You guys, short-term pain, long-term gain. This is where it's at. I mean, right now is a good chance to maybe sell your old laptop and buy some more Bitcoin and go get a Purism or something like that. I know that the Purism's going to be putting out their new iPhone or the new phone as well. And yeah, this is a good time to educate. The winter is here, as Audio Tweaker said. It is like Jon Snow says, winter has come. This is serious stuff, guys. Stock market's plummeted. California is burning. Hate to say it, but Germany's car market is under. And FANG stocks, specifically Facebook, is losing so much. It's bleeding that it's kind of nice to see for once. Everybody in America stops using it, and I'm just excited to honestly see what's going to happen. This adoption price is still double the price of what gold is going for. There's nothing that's more expensive than literally what we're doing right now is buying this beautiful digital gold. So if you guys haven't checked out Rico Coin Report, go check it out. I've been talking a lot about this, specifically about this affects the community. So when you have people selling or buying Ripple, they're crippling the community, really. And with this hash war, there's no better time than just to hodl. This is when you see your Satoshis from your photoshis, from your real to your fake, okay? And Satoshi Nakamoto, he knew this was going to happen. The banks, they happen every 10 years. This happened back in 2007, 2008. It was bloody bad, and America just was distraught. And it's happening again. 2019 is going to look pretty scary for a lot of people. I remember when everybody in Portland and up in Seattle were living in tents. It became a tent city. So, I mean, now is the time to hodl more than ever. How's it going, Max?
Oh, absolutely. The price of Bitcoin doesn't matter. The inflation schedule does, and that has not changed a bit.
Max, I think you're muted, bro.
Am I? I hope not. No, I don't think I am. Might be your headphones. So the thing is that, right, the price of Bitcoin doesn't matter. It's the block time that does, and the inflation schedule, and that has not changed. So keep it up and don't sell, but stack it up. That's Black Friday sale, not just for the Purism to get 20%, but actually for Bitcoin as well. So that is quite nice. So the next steps for the Purism setup were to type in a password, which I already did because I'm not going to tell you. And now we continue the setup. You can connect to some online accounts, which would be the NetCloud or IMAP or SMT. Not going to do that now. And of course, now the account. So it asks you for a full name and a username. And this username will be used for your home folder and cannot be changed. So again, that is important that you have this again. And for me, again, this entire battle station is going to be dedicated to Murray Rothbard. Again, is going to be Murray. What username did you choose?
Actually, I used RCR Report, or was it RC Report, which is Rico Coin Report. And Rico Coin Report is just for me to tell you guys about all the research that I'm doing. I'm doing a series called Consciously Fundraising 1 Bitcoin. I'm trying to see how long it takes me to raise 1 Bitcoin. And we're talking about everything. Well, this upcoming series we're going to be doing is about the control. Okay, the control originating back all the way to the Knights Templar, okay, Solomon's Temple, the origins of religion, and how everything has been weaved around a massive conspiracy that it really is just one massive conspiracy that everybody's taken a part of. And the education, the technology, the money, the control, it's just one thing, really. Now, you can call it the Illuminati, you can call it whatever you want, but that's what I put my name. It was RC Report, Rico Coin Report.
Very nice. And absolutely stuff worth talking about. Mark Passio, check it out. So I've typed in now both the encryption password first and right now the everyday password, which again, not going to tell you. And right here, it says you're ready to go. Start Pure OS, and we are starting it right here. Loading, which is nice. He's working hard, the good little fellow.
Believe it or not, you might be surprised. Oh, is it? Do you have like a bar or anything? Because if you don't have a bar, that means it's already up. You wouldn't even know it.
I do believe it's already up.
So push the Purism button and see what happens.
Oh, Pierce, first time. I'm gonna push this unlabeled, no bullshit button. What happened? I don't know. Still nothing happening.
Okay, so try this. It might still be loading. Okay, so one thing I did notice is it's a bit, oh, there you go. You've got something. No, you're up. You're up. Okay, so there's no applications open, so it's not going to do anything. There is a button called the activity button. Let me see what happens when I push it. That should happen.
So, this is Pure OS currently running, so not yet Cubes. I might install it later, but I did want to check out Pure OS first. And this is, as I believe, a Debian fork with some additional privacy-focused features. So that's very nice as well. And it should put up a...
It's gonna. That's it. That's it. It's just gonna pull up the side and the front windows. It'll say activities on the top. Well, whatever it's in German.
I have set it up on English.
Try to open something by going up to the corner button activities and see what happens.
I do not see the...
Okay, so it's still loading. Okay, be patient. That's one thing it is. It does take its time, that's for sure. So one thing I did notice when I've been turning it on is it kind of scared me, obviously. I don't know anything about computers. That the first few times, even though I loaded it up, nothing happened. And then I had to push the power button and it went back off. And then I turned it back on. So it's a little sticky at first. I think it's literally just, it's trying to figure itself out. Yeah, it just gives it a second. Oh, there you go.
No, right now I'm just connecting it to the Wi-Fi.
You are?
Because it might have to do... It might have to do some initial downloads and updates and everything. So I will type this in. Already, the Purism is now connected to the probably very infested Wi-Fi from the co-working space.
Believe it or not, it's got its own protocols that don't allow a lot of things to happen. It's really weird how it does that. It goes under the radar. You'll be all right.
Well, and so here in the top right corner, where for Ubuntu you usually have your setups, it does say GNOME initial setup. So I am not yet logged into the main account. So you know what? I do believe I should just restart it right here and let it do its thing. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Works 100% of the time, every time.
Literally every time, guys. Now, so we had a question. Audio Video Tweaker says, should you generate the Bitcoin private keys before connecting to the internet? Now, I know you use a cold storage, so that's not even connected to the internet. Here's the thing with the Purism. You can always reset it if you want. So if you connect to the internet, like right now, if he can just do whatever he wants, and then he can go ahead and reset everything that's happened, it'll still have his user set up, and your name will always be on it, but everything else will be cleaned. It'll be wiped. Now, you don't want to wipe it twice. Don't wipe it twice unless you're ready to reset the whole thing. And also, here's another thing. If you do turn on the trackpad, turn off the trackpad. Make sure you turn it back on before you turn it off. Otherwise, you won't really have access to it. And one more thing, there's no caps lock light. So that's kind of one funny thing about it. But yeah, so I don't think the private keys really matter. And for anybody having issues with ledgers, I recommend not using Google Chrome or a ledger together. That's like putting nitrochloric acid in on your skin. Actually, it's not a good idea. There's a lot of people getting hacked through Google Chrome with the ledger. I don't use a ledger, but
Oh yes,
cold card is the way to go, I think.
Be very, very careful with the ledger, as it does it any software, and not even a browser, but really any website can come and quite easily extract the extended public key of your ledger, which means that the attacker knows all your addresses, past and future, and that really sucks. So be careful with the ledger.
Yeah, I'm pretty content with my keep key, but I have no problems with that. I just wouldn't recommend using Google Chrome with any wallet. Just my opinion. How we going, Max? Any results?
Well, it looks like that after I rebooted it, I now have to redo the initial setup. So that is interesting. Let's see that because of this anyhow, it should work quite easily.
As long as your first generated password doesn't have to be regenerated, you're solid. And yeah. An audio video tweaker saying, watch Bitcoin Meister's episode with Tris Meyer from recently. He condemned hardware wallets, which I don't. Hardware wallets are a sticky subject, guys. I recommend you could probably just stick with a cold storage, cold card. I wouldn't use a ledger, period. Those things are crap. I've heard some horror stories of people buying them, putting thousands of dollars on them, and then the next day when they load them up, it's gone because they've been pre-hacked. So yes, air gapped is the way to go. You don't want to use anything like that. And yeah, the thing about with the Purism is it's built on a really secure protocol, and I forgot what it's called with TPM and who they're using, but this thing is solid, you guys. You can always use a VPN, and that's kind of be your best bet. The Purism VPN that you can get for $5 a month, and they give you the first 3 months free, is solid. You get 5 gigs a day, unless you are like watching a ton of movies. It's a pretty solid good thing, and you can do like a 30 gig one as well. So it reroutes it to Switzerland. Unless you live in Switzerland, then I guess it's kind of it's still a solid VPN. So
oh yes, absolutely. VPNs are a must-have, and let me actually come on. So you can see my pretty face again. VPNs are cool, but I don't want to say too much. But the Nodl is really cool as well. Nodl.it. So much more, which I cannot yet talk about. But check it out. It's good.
And what about these mesh networks? Have updates on some of those?
Oh, I am hosting, of course, my Go tennis here in Frankfurt. So unfortunately, I don't have any peers because mainly in the city, the reach is rather small, and I just don't think that too many people have the Go tennis yet. So I am still the lone node on the network with no peers so far. But at least I have here the peers on the internet, which has much a broader reach. But let's see, mesh networks are still fantastic. and really cool stuff. So I am running it. If you are in Frankfurt, turn on your GoTenna and we can communicate.
I actually saw this post that I used to live in Wellington, and if I think like every 20 miles, somebody had a mesh network tenna, they wouldn't even need Wi-Fi on the whole island. Like, it's a peer-to-peer system when it comes to the internet, and I think that's going to be the future when it catches on. But yeah, we need to get more people using the GoTennas and the mesh networks, and there's some really good ones out there that give you two. So maybe get in with a friend that's around you. You guys split the cost. You each get one, and just send it around, and maybe get like a group of people to go and get some mesh networks, and see how it goes. Otherwise, I'm trusting VPNs. The Librem VPN for $5 a month. I can't beat that with 3 free months.
Oh,
Better
yes.
now?
Absolutely. I know somehow still having some issues with the initial setup, but that's all right because this right here is only supposed to be the unboxing. So the next videos we're going to stream from this machine and then do some screen sharing and everything. So that is going to be really nice. But one thing that we can test is this little fella here. So tricky to get this thing off. Ha! There we go. Okay, so switching back. And I'm going to plug with that side up. And it's blinking.
Blinking.
It's no longer blinking. So that I don't know.
I want to take this moment to thank everybody from the World Crypto Network, you guys who put in Satoshis. This wouldn't have happened without you. This moment has happened because of you. In fact, Max, I want to thank you personally, because if you hadn't started this tally coin, then I wouldn't have known about it either. And I'm super excited. This is the first time that I've had a decent laptop. My last laptop, I actually left it after having it for about less than 2 years at an airport through the metal detectors in Sydney, and I hadn't gone back for like 3 months later because I just was home for family. I was going to fly all the way back just to get my laptop, and it was gone when I went back. So thank you guys, everybody at World Crypto Network. Thank you, everybody that's visiting from Rico Coin Report. We're going to upload this onto my channel as well. Thank you, Todd Weaver, the whole team at Purism, at the Purism company. And of course, thank Thomas as well from the World Crypto Network and everybody in the community of Bitcoin. Not the trash wars, but the real hardcore maximalists. You guys are what make the future, okay? Sound, okay? Open source, peer-to-peer. That's why we have this. And yeah, thank you. Seriously, guys. It's all because of you.
Oh yes, absolutely. Very well said. And I really do want to take this time and just echo what Rico has said. The immense gratitude that I feel for all of you for getting rid of your Satoshis, giving them over to me so that we can enjoy this amazing piece of hardware. Well, especially I'm going to enjoy it very much and every day still. But I do want to share a lot of this experience with you and really get into the nuts and bolts of this little thing. And somehow I really don't think that that live unboxings are something that go well with me, because we had some issues with the cold card unboxing live as well, and NVK was in the chat yelling at me because I did something wrong and the cable was too long and the keyboard was flickering, and apparently same is happening with the Purism. I really do need to take some more time and make sure that the setup process is completely done. Looks amazing so far. It feels amazing. The entire chassis is so high quality. I'm just such a fan of aluminum chassis, and the sanding is really high quality. It looks amazing. It feels amazing. It's cool to the touch, which is cool. And of course, the matte black everything design. And probably the coolest thing about the design is the back, that there's nothing. And that is really, really cool. Because I do not want to be forced to shill your logo if I don't want to. So if I choose to shill your logo, then I will put a sticker on it, which I will not because the matte black design is just way too cool, but I could. I will do the shill elsewhere.
No, I love it. Absolutely. You can't get better than that. And not only that, but it literally feels like a weapon. So I was going to let you know, yeah, I literally had to turn it off and on 3 times once I loaded it up. So it's really finicky. I didn't unbox on live because I couldn't be bothered, to be honest with you. But it's a hard thing unboxing, first of all. And we had talked about it prior to. And it's not something it's not going to go very easily, you know. So, I mean, you know, I guess unboxing would be like the first date, right? You're just not going to bring your selfie stick.
Unfortunately, no selfie stick included, which is a shame. But maybe what we could do to finish this up, and especially to celebrate you, the peers of the network, is to go through the chat. Because I do see many...
You're muted. Max, you're muted, bro.
Oh, I'm muted again?
You said we should go through the chat.
Yeah, we should go through the chat. If you could pull that up, that would be great. So Kato Miner is here. That is cool. And of course, he's working on the Nodal, the financial weapon of self-defense that goes perfectly together with this technology, a weapon of self-defense, which is the Purism. So nice seeing you here. Audio video is complaining about the price, 4K. Feels like 2017 all over again. Oh yes, if you wanted to travel back in time to buy Bitcoin cheap, well, we've made it happen. We have time traveled, and we're back at a cheap price. So stack them up.
Well, I personally think that this is, I mean, if you think about it, this is a Black Friday price. People were complaining about it when it was 10K, about no one wanted to buy in. It was too expensive. It was the bankers who were going to buy in. It was a commercial. And now we have it for less than 5,000. I know that I'm buying in. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely not something that's great if you are trying to spending power. And we had talked about this actually prior to buying them, because we had been talking about, well, because I personally bought it with my own Satoshis, and I was like, you know, I felt like before it went down, it was going to go down. And we talked about that. And look, here it comes, exactly what had happened. And, you know, you see Tone and some of the other TA people, you know, sweating a little bit, but at the same time, you got to look at the upside. I mean, this could be the water retracing right before the tsunami, you know. This could be the massive push. And I mean, we just need this adoption price isn't going to happen overnight. Markets are plummeting. People are losing their houses all over China. California is burning, like I said. You know, every single company is crashing harder than anything else. We could complain about the price, or we could go buy some more. I mean, it's only going to go up. Even if it goes down a little bit more, I'm going to be going back in for more, you know. Just take what you can.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, that is right. Keep on accumulating. Buy every Monday, dollar cost average. That's how you handle these types of really volatile assets. Buy often and sell often, but don't sell for fiat, but sell for goods and services. Use your Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, of course, in addition to using it first and foremost as a store of value. Kato Miner in the chat says that Pure OS is the best Linux distribution, even if you're not using a Purism laptop. If you're using anything like Debian or Ubuntu, which I'm using right now on my machine, then you should switch to Pure OS now. And he says it doesn't remind of the macros X setup after install. Yes, that's how easy is Pure OS to use. So Pure OS is cool.
You got muted again.
I got muted again. I stopped
Pure
clicking
OS.
the button. the Pure OS. So you have experienced it already. How is it?
Since I'm running already, I mean, this screen is beautiful. We're looking at Max on my screen, so you can say hi to yourself, Max. And yeah, guys, this thing is solid. I'm gonna go ahead and push the Purism button. So when you push the Purism button, you've got these little side positions that kind of pop out on anywhere. And let's go ahead and escape really quick. And it's got this really cool setting where, just 1 second. If I wanted to do like a side screen, all I have to do, let me see this real quickly if I can get this to work. It's a pretty heavy laptop for how small it is. If I just
That's the
bring this
aluminum chassis.
yeah, it's a solid chassis. I feel like I'm carrying a gun here. If you just go all the way over and that thing, and then it just does a share screen. So it splits it down the middle. Every single part of the screen is utilized in different ways. So like if you want to have a split screen, you just bring it all the way over and it splits it specifically. I was using with my HDMI cord earlier with my TV to project. Amazing. The sound is super clear. The sound is clear in the headphones. I had no problems with anything at all. Like I said, I was trying to upload some new browsers, and I'm using the Purism browser. It won't let me chat because it's a bit old, so I have to upgrade. I haven't figured out if I'm going to stay on the Purism OS or if I'm going to go to CubeOS. I've heard some really good things about CubeOS. Like I said, I'm not a programmer, and now that I have this thing, I've decided to start looking into programming some blockchains. Only because this seems like that's going to be the future of the internet, the future of applications, and the future of markets. You know, I call it on my show the Satoshi stocks. You know, I'm not telling you to go buy any of them, but at this point, I wouldn't buy anything but Bitcoin. But yeah, you guys, this is the future. And when you have something like this, or you have Max's computer, you don't need to do anything. You don't even need a desktop with that thing. And even with mine, I feel really entitled to make a stance. And like I said, I'm not a computer programmer. I'm a massage therapist, personal trainer, kinesiologist. I know more about health than anything else. But yeah, it's quite interesting to see how the whole having something like this really makes you feel like you need to do something. You know, I feel like this is the Tesla of computers, you know, right? And it's exciting. It's really exciting to, you know, if you watch Todd Weaver in the interview you did in Prague, you really get to see, because I'm a father as well, you get to see somebody who believes in what they stand for. I mean, now I've just even thought about getting rid of my Twitter account. You know, maybe not. I just got it this year for my channel, but there's so much you can do with this. It is a weapon of self-defense, and I want to stand up and make a statement, you know.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Todd is amazing. He will be back on the World Crypto Network talking a bit more about this amazing tool. So absolutely, I'm very much looking forward to continue our conversation because not only is he a very, very smart individual, but he has the heart in the right place and a pristine and well worth imitating moral and ethical compass. And that is something that you do not often see of people being that upfront. And he is a true hero fighting for your liberties as much as he is fighting for his own liberties. So absolutely, he is, in my opinion, one of the heroes of Bitcoin. And, well, not just Bitcoin, the entire ecosystem of free and sovereign individuals claiming their freedom and taking it back.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, just going through the chat here. You guys, I'm doing a show on my patio because I've got a kid running around in there that would be climbing, and I've got 3 screens in front of me. I've got the Purism, I've got my MacBook, and then I've got a iPad Air. So I did pay the bill, but I am outside, and it's gonna snow any minute.
Well, and needs some nice hat, need the nice gloves, and there's no bad weather, just bad clothing. We also have Corey in the chat. And Corey, you're amazing. Thank you for taking care of the World Crypto Network podcast. Did you know the WCN has a podcast? Oh, yes, it does. And it's a good one. Not just me there, but many, many others. And really a cool collection, really worth checking out. We have Audio Tweaker, who asks if this thing is going to self-destruct. What is the... well, yes, it will self-destruct because there's too much awesomeness crammed into this little package. I think it will implode and create a black sun. I do not know. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't hope so. He further asks, what OS is this running? Well, we have said that, right? It's running the Pure OS by default. You can switch to Cube OS. Why not? First, I'm going to try out the Pure OS. Might then switch to Cube OS and do the comparison. But definitely worth checking out. And then he asks if, or he hopes that we are not running Windows. I was actually choking in the Nodal chat, or in the Wasabi Wallet Telegram chat, that the first software I'm going to run is, of course, the Internet Explorer. No, just kidding. It's actually going to be the Wasabi Wallet, because this weapon of self-defense deserves equivalent for you. So if you truly want to go under the radar, then hard kill switch. Right here, right? Kill switch the microphone, kill switch the camera, kill switch the Wi-Fi, then compile Wasabi from source, and then go get coin joins and make sure that your UTXOs are cleaning it.
Yeah, and it looks pretty solid, man. I'm actually just looking at how much it weighs. It looks like it comes up to 1.8 kilograms. Mine's are around 1.4. That's pretty light for a 15-inch laptop. I mean, the thing is solid as well. And the coolest thing about this, you guys, is if you ever have any problems, you can just unscrew the back and you can do anything you want. You can configure it. You can upgrade. You can downgrade. Do you want to tell us what you got, the tech specs?
Well, absolutely. This is your hardware. This is your software. It really, you can do anything you want with that, and you're encouraged to do so. So although the specs are open and you could see where the cables are off this hardware, but you could just as easily screw it up. And this is no Apple nonsense where when you would open, then the entire thing implodes. So to the specs, I do have the Core i7, and that is also something that Stoic Nate says that this Intel CPU might be one of the biggest downsides because Intel, well, it's not a company that does treasure your privacy, and they do not treasure your individual sovereignty. And I agree with that. This might be the weakest link in this laptop. And Todd spoke a lot about this in our several interviews now, and this is absolutely one thing that I will ask him in the future shows as well, and how bad he sees this Intel situation, and whether or not this is actually a big problem, or if he can make sure that because all the other open aspects of this hardware, that the downsides of having this Intel processor, which might be compromised, can be mitigated. I'm not an expert in that, so I do treasure his expert opinion here. You're muted.
I mean, it's not like a Chinese spy chip, but an American one, I guess. Well, you know, both my parents are computer programmers, and they've worked with everybody from Intel to Google to, well, they're computer techs. So it's a give and take. It's one of the things that they didn't create themselves. I guess if you really wanted to mess with that, you could. That's the cool thing about this computer, guys. I mean, if you really are tech savvy, you can upgrade, you can downgrade, you can do whatever you really want with this thing. But it just depends on your level of knowledge, I guess.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And of course, trade-offs. As I said, it's not a perfect product. So just be careful out there. I do have 6 GB of RAM, so that is nice. That's going to make it nice, fast, and snappy. And a 250 SSD storage. So I don't need much storage, and I planning on setting up rather soon a home server for additional storage.
So do you want to put your keys on here and run a couple nodes and stuff?
Well, I do have, hopefully pretty soon, K2Miner's amazing nodal. And by the way, only I think 7 or so are still left for sale. So get yours now. They are really amazing. nodl.io. This as my dedicated full node, Lightning node, BTC Pay server, and much, much more to come. But will I have some private keys on this device? Actually, yes. Because I do have the Wasabi wallet. I am planning on installing the Wasabi probably tonight. So this is absolutely hardware that I do think is as secure as you can get it at this point in time. And although, of course, an offline device is always best for your cold storage, I do believe that there are, again, trade-offs. And as you at this moment cannot yet use a hardware wallet with Wasabi, which is a shame, but is on the roadmap, I do want to have a couple of Satoshis coin joined, and will continue doing that with the Wasabi wallet. So I will have some keys, but of course the majority of the keys are going to be on the cold card, and especially in a cold store, a deep cold storage multi-sig.
And I guess I heard something that was kind of hilarious in the chat. Boger's guy said, if Bitcoin crashes low enough, again, we might be able to mine it on your laptop again. And I don't think it'll ever crash that low. Would be hilarious to see it crash that low. I think maybe in the future, that's what everything's going to be paying off, is the transaction rates, because the miners will be not getting any coins after the halving and the halving of the halving. I think there's only 2 more halvings. Yeah, there's only 2 more halvings. So, yeah, the thing is solid. Did you say it only has 6 gigabytes of RAM? Because I think that's I think it's a little bit more, because mine's got more than that. But you've got double the memory than I've only got 120. You've got 250, I believe.
Well, you can choose between, I think, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 6, 8, and 16. So there are different options. I did not get the 16 gigabytes because that's crazy and really expensive. And this one was already rather expensive. So I do think that 6 gig is enough. And, cool thing is that if I feel that it's not, open it up and just rip out the RAM and put in another one. It's easy as that. And then you can upgrade to 32 gigabits of RAM if you want. Further, going back to the chat, Kato Miner again is saying or asking, aren't you worried that the TSA and other airport security will be hunting for Purism owners? And that actually is a rather valid concern. It's not just for stuff like the Purism, but also if you have a hardware wallet on you. This is a clear indication that you value your sovereignty, and this is something that the TSA especially does not like, because they like to violate your liberties and your sovereignty at every step, and they do like touching your junk. And if you do not want to have that, then well, unfortunately, you either have to get a private jet like the elite, or well, walk to your destination. But well, what can you do? I do believe that for this year, the Librem key is quite nice. So I will always check, especially after going through airports, if everything is still in order. And of course, for hardware wallets, it might be decent to wipe the hardware wallet and somehow get the backup at the other side of the airport. Otherwise, because the cold card has some amazing duress wallet features, so you can nuke or brick your device if it comes to that with typing in a special code. Then I do think that this is a nice way of securing against that. But yeah, the TSA is a bitch, and I don't think there's much around that.
I mean, in Europe, you could just take a bus. That might be a way to go. If anybody's flying to America, which I will be eventually, I would recommend leaving everything at home and just going there like a broke bastard and just looking like you have no money, because then they won't take advantage of you. They only want to take advantage of you when you look like you have something to hide. The Purism laptop is a weapon of self-defense. I wouldn't go to China either with it. Your laptop is it's a solid piece of equipment. I probably wouldn't travel I personally wouldn't. That's why I got the one that I got. But yeah, that thing is a beautiful piece of equipment. I don't doesn't look like we're gonna get Todd. I do know that he said he's gonna be coming on a post show at a different time. Then you can put some questions into it, and it's probably better you didn't come for the unboxing, because we would just be sitting here twiddling our thumbs. But yeah, when it comes down to traveling internationally, you really need to start thinking in this day and age what you're bringing with you. You could probably get yourself what's it called, the little USB sticks that I can never remember what they're called.
Open
Yes, that's it. And travel with one of those. I know the private key is pretty solid and they're really kind of hard to tamper with. So you can go it that way. You could just do the application like a Wasabi wallet and see if you can open it somewhere else once you have your keys. It just really depends on how much you're traveling with this kind of equipment. I personally won't be bringing my cold storage wallet to America, and I probably won't be bringing much except for my passport. And then, believe it or not, the American passports have been said to have smart chips in them. So you guys, everything from the passport to your cell phones to your everything is being watched, and now it looks like your TV and refrigerators are going to be ganging up on you as well. So watch out, you guys. You don't want to gangbang on the applications trying to take you down as soon as they start making more money than you do. So we'll see what the future holds with all this. This is a good time to get a Purism laptop. If you guys go check it out at the website, like I said earlier, they are 20% off. Yes, the price of Bitcoin is down, so the spending power has gone down, but 20% off, you can't really beat that in America. And I recommend, if you're shipping it internationally, have it shipped to your company or to a private company, because you'll save a lot of time. And the control won't be able to find out as much. If it's to a company, they seem to not want to mess with it. Whereas if it's sending it to your personal house or your apartment, seems most likely like they really just want to tamper with you the most. So yes, the TSA wants to definitely fondle your privacy, but we'll see what happens with this future. I mean, it seems like it's only happening more and more and more and more. So do what you guys can, seriously.
Oh yes, absolutely. Trade-offs, unfortunately. Further, we have Klein Zipzig in the chat saying that you have to set up the browser privacy setting yourself. They are not made by Purism from the start. A good call. I can't verify that yet, but apparently that is the case. So be careful, right, with any browser that you use. Probably you should use the Tor browser first and foremost. And then afterwards, of course, use DuckDuckGo and use all the privacy enhancing features that you can add for your browser. And maybe we can go into that with the in-depth software review of the PureOS and CubeOS and all the other cool stuff that is going to come. Booker's guy in the chat says, is there a big sell button on the keyboard? No, there is not. There is only a giant buy button that you have to push over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, this weekend's going to be good. I think you and I will have just a nice talk when we're not on the air, and we can kind of throw back some ideas back and forth. I'm really curious as to see what you have. The thing is fast, you guys. The thing is solid. I don't know of a better laptop than this. It feels like a solid piece of weapon. I feel like I'm carrying a Glock around or something. It's got a bit of weight. And in America, you can carry a Glock around if you have a private license to carry a gun, conceal weapon in your car or something like that. And sadly, when you open your laptop in a cafe or anywhere, they're just going through it. They're going through your stuff. And whether you're using Tor browser or something else that's a little bit secure as well, or a VPN, it's just about it's about self-defense. Okay, Bitcoin is the exact same way. Use Bitcoin. Don't put your money in banks. And Keto Miner had tweeted this. He's so happy to not have money in banks, and me too. I think that the only thing that I've got in banks is my school loans, and you know, if the banks falter and I go live on an island, good luck trying to find me. You know, but even then, what are they going to do? You know, so yeah, guys. Super excited, and I don't know, Keto Miner, I know you're living in Paris as well. We took the flight back from the Honey Badger. I talked about this in my report a little bit earlier. They're now selling Bitcoin over the counter at tobacco shops in Paris and in France. So that's a really good step forward. You guys, the banks are imploding, and Bitcoin's being adopted on a very commercial level, and obviously now it's being adopted on over the counter as well with fiat, and this is just another walk in the door and the foot to go forward. It's going crypto, whether it's Cripple, whether it's a Hash Wars, whether it's this new CDC bank coin, which banks of London, Canada, and Singapore have adopted. So I talk a lot about the news, so I'm just kind of throwing this stuff out that this stuff is happening, and it's not happening on the media. You're not going to hear about Purism ever on TV, and I don't remember the last time I watched TV, but I don't get my news from the TV, and the community that we're all talking about, that you guys are part of, that's the community that I'm looking for information. So if you guys have anything you want to chuck in the chat, feel free to chuck it in there. Delusional Vision, Dr. Stephen Wrong is just a bit nutty. You've got the very, very trying to con everybody, and now Bitmain had to, you know, fork because he got conned himself. So I mean, evil only begets evil. So at this point, that's why we got the Purism laptops. It would be nice to have some more guests in here who have used this. So if you guys get them in future shows when we talk more about the Purism laptops, and we've tested it, and we have Todd Weaver on the show next time, let us know. Let us know what you think. Let us have, if you have questions. I have questions myself of which browser to use. And you know, it's a give and take. These, like Max said, you know, they're not perfect machines. They've got you know, they've got the Intel chip in them, so it takes a bit of time. Obviously, you know, we're going to be spied upon, but it's just about finding loopholes to get out of the control. You know, yeah, if you're going to get felt up by TSA, then maybe go private, you know, or do something else.
Oh yes, absolutely, right. Trade-offs. And Piers, finally, I mean, it happened. It's working now after, I think, the 5th reboot. I do not know what made it work this time, but well, it's up and running. So I'm really excited to check it out in more detail. And as I said, this only was the unboxing, the initial chat about this all, going about all the quote unquote boring stuff. The real interesting and all the software that is on here and all the cool things that are possible will come in future videos with hopefully in-depth discussions as well. Okay, there's a lot is happening again in the chat. Crypto Luke asks, is this laptop just for selling and buying drugs? Why, other than scare rhetoric, would anyone want to paint themselves into a corner? Well, yes, this laptop is for buying and selling drugs. And yes, this laptop is also for buying and selling diapers for your little child. Liberty and freedom is not only for the criminals, it is for everyone. And because privacy is a fundamental human and natural right, it is also yours. No one is going to give you your liberty. No one is going to give you privacy. You have to assert it. You have to claim it. And if you want to, use the tools that are at your disposal. And there are many tools available. Bitcoin is one of these. And the laptop here by Purism absolutely is another. It's not a perfect tool. It's not the magic pill that will make everything great. And it's not this little drop in the bucket that will make everything rosy and smell of doves. But it is a single step on a longer marathon. However, it is quite a nice tool to have. Not just for the criminals, but for everyone. Do you paint yourself into a corner? Well, you do decrease the anonymity set. There are not as many people running around with such sophisticated tools, so you definitely stick out of the crowd. Thus, you do have to be careful. And there are ways to mitigate that, but of course, I do believe that having good tools, even if others do not have them, is very valuable.
Yeah, I'm just give you guys a show of the 13.3-inch Purism laptop, the Road Warrior. And this thing is solid. I've got my MacBook over here, this 11-inch, and it feels nice and it's just pretty, you know, it's easy. But the Road Warrior, I have to pick it up with two hands. I mean, this thing is solid. I think every single person should have kill switches on their computer. Um, I feel like the kill switches in the Purism laptop is like having Bitcoin versus the banks. Okay, it's literally it's a step in it. Think about this: how much time do you spend on the internet, and how much time do you spend buying stuff? Now, if those are the two main things you do, and somebody's watching you do all of those things, how much control do you think they have over your life? How much control do you think that they are funneling your information, selling it? Literally, I talk about the narrative all the time about what's going on in the world. Everything has a long game. And if you're using Bitcoin and you're, you know, keeping all your private keys to yourself and you're owning your own Bitcoin, what about your information? What about all that stuff? Because that stuff is just as important, if not more important, than what you buy. I mean, the stuff you're looking at, they're going to put advertisements, they're going to sell it, they're going to sell it pretty much. And you've seen with Cambridge Analytica, they are doing everything they can to look at China. I mean, they're watching the way that people work. They've got computers that are watching the way that people work. I mean, move, how they walk. They're all in a point system. And this is just a step forward into your own sovereign. It's like owning your own keys on your information. Okay. But Purism is just one step forward. And this is just a small company, you guys. This isn't like some mass distributor. I think they've been out for like 2 or 3 years now, and they're doing just fine. I mean, this is the kind of company you want to get behind, okay? This is like with Tesla without the engines, you know? They're not using engines. They've got everything on a battery. This thing is like the Bitcoin or the Tesla of computers. This thing is you hold your information. You can see if anybody's tampered with it. If you get that Librem key, there you go. The thing is a solid piece of equipment. It is a weapon of self-defense because, believe it or not, what's more important than what you buy? What you're looking at, the information, all right? So maybe you miss out on something. Maybe you get blocked or maybe you get hacked. Maybe you put some stuff out and every single time you guys are using like Chrome or using your MacBook, perhaps, even that's why I get scared about looking at stuff. They're watching you. That's all they're doing. And I'm not saying they're like watching you specifically, but they could be. Poor Tone Vase got hacked at BitMEX. And what I'm saying, you guys, is that this is just one hurdle for them. It's just a statement to say, I will no longer let you watch me to sell my information, to control what I look at. This is past Orwellian times, you guys. I don't think these are going to be very popular in China, but here in Europe, at least we've got a little bit of freedom. And obviously the origin of America, being American, it's a very liberal kind of place. And whether you hold a gun or whether whatever you want to do, that's your choice. And the fact that we live in a world where you've got probably majority of Chinese people think it's okay that they watch us. It's okay that we're on a point system. When has it been okay that we're on a point system where you're allowed to go out to a restaurant, or you're allowed to go to a movie, or you're not allowed to leave your house, or work at a certain job? It's the information, you guys. It's a control system that's crumbling, and we're just allowing it. So I think Todd Weaver's onto something. Max, thank you for bringing this to my front step. It wasn't for you, I wouldn't have known about Purism. I would have got myself a new MacBook for all I know. And the crowd as well. You guys, this is a Christmas gift that came early for Max. Thanksgiving in America was yesterday, and Black Friday is today. I mean, get your Bitcoin while you can, guys. Get your Purism while you can. And get them cheap, Get it at a good discount.
Oh, yes, absolutely. This is Christmas come early. And again, I thank you, the Santa Clauses, the peers, for supporting me here and getting this. And of course, this is it's not even the first video. We've already made like 3 or 4 videos about the Purism. So this is one step in the hopefully many for further videos about this amazing piece of hardware and software. So yes, maybe to sum it up, it's dope. It's really, really good. Just the chassis alone. Kato Miner was loving that in the chat as well. Like it feels amazing. It really does. It feels so high quality. It's cool to the touch, which is nice. It's robust. It's sturdy, and just the look of matte black everything is phenomenal. So this no questions. Really a beautiful piece of hardware. Just what you touch, right? Your interface with it. Of course, the kill switches are another great idea. And again, that should be in every piece of hardware that has a microphone or camera. You should be able to turn it off at your own discretion. And this is, of course, one of the prime selling points, in my opinion, for this thing here. And a shame that it's the only laptop that provides you with this opportunity. I also really like that the still have to do much more writing with it, but it feels great so far. I really do like it. And I do like the updated USB ports, both USB 3 and USB Type-C, which is, I do believe, a nice combination. The camera, I haven't checked it out so far, microphone neither, but I have a good setup right now. And although I had troubles with the initial setup, and still not 100% working right there, which is, I believe, quite okay. Again, this is, I don't really think a newbie tool. This is a powerful tool that deserves, that has a learning curve to it. I do believe so. And I will keep you up to date. It's been a rocky path so far. We got it up and running. That is nice. Still having trouble updating it and getting all the binaries. But again, doing this all like half here on the side. Again, we're going to keep you up to date on and be honest about the user experience. And so far, it's been bumpy, but I don't think it's too much of an issue. Again, privacy and liberty do come at a cost, and you do need to claim them. And if all that you need to do is fiddle around a bit until you can get it to work, well, then I do believe this is very much a trade-off that you should be willing to take. Rico, already got your hands on this a couple days earlier. Maybe you can give your couple days in first retrospective view.
Well, that's exactly what I was just going to say, because believe it or not, I was not super stoked when I first unboxed. I mean, I was stoked when I unboxed it. When I was using it at first, I was literally melting. Like, I was like jaw dropping, melting, like not in a good way. I mean, I was like, it's not working. I turned it off, turned it back on again. Like, it was really hairy for the first, I've had it since Monday. I unboxed it, was it Wednesday or Tuesday? I can't remember. And I was using it and I was like, this isn't working. And I kept going back to my Mac. And this is the first day where I just want to get off the Mac and I want to go over it and just use it. And I still didn't use it. It takes a time to get away from the comfort of being nannied into the MacBook, into this new weapon. I mean, it's like, I can't even explain it. I can't explain it, but what I was going to say is it was first a bit hairy, and now that I've used it, this is the first day. It's Friday, you guys. I got it Monday, and I started using it like 3 days ago. And I finally, last night was like the first night where I was like listening to videos. I was getting my information on it, and I was like, okay, this is solid. This is solid, and that's all I wanted to use today. But of course, I reverted back to the Mac because it's got all my stuff on there, and it's just like that's where all my information is quick to grab. And I really didn't want to. I was just like, I don't want to use this thing anymore. I'm just done with it. And it was just weird how we're like that. We're all like, no one wants to change the servers or anything, the service of their cell phone or whatever it might be. It's hard switching. And this is basically stock, as Booger Guy said. I mean, like, you guys, if you were to have like a weapon, like a gun, like a Glock that can shoot underwater. It can shoot in the sand. It can shoot in space. I mean, you can do whatever you want with it. Would you want something like that? Or do you want something that looks pretty, that can get stuck, in here and there and stuff? You want something that's solid and you can rely on. And yeah, the first time it's going to have a kick. Okay. The first time you ever shoot a Glock, it's going to have a kickback. It's going to push you. And this isn't a toy. This is not a toy. This is serious stuff. And the MacBook is pretty and it's got all those little buttons and it's like, yeah, it's so pretty. And you are nannied. And even once the Librem cell phones come out and I gain a little bit more Satoshis and I'm there, that's going to be my next position. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's a weapon, and it's something that is you need to realize it's not gonna happen in one. You're not gonna be able. This is not something you just open up and use. This is gonna take time. I mean, you're gonna have 3 or 4 days of using it and be like, whoa, this is way over my head. And even downloading stuff, you're gonna be like, you have a million options of everything. It gives you every kind of option you can imagine, and even it makes Android look like kindergarten. I mean, this stuff is serious stuff, and I would rather use something that the community of people who are about computers, the people who live and breathe the code, open source, would be using, rather than something that's like, I don't know, we'll just sell them something that's pretty and, it's nice on the outside, but really we're just going to go ahead and set them up. It's a rat trap. They're using it nonstop. And guess what? We're going to watch them. We're going to turn it on when they're not there. We're going to hack them. We're going to go ahead and brainwash them and make them literally all the laptops to this day and age that I can think of are like that. Unless you go out and make your own computer and you're a gamer, you really don't know what's in your laptop. And like he said, it's not perfect. This is the beginning of perfection. Bitcoin wasn't perfect when it first came out. It had a lot of glitches. And even now, so I don't know if anybody watches Tone, but as you hear Tyler, he's been in the space of stock markets and trading very, very long time. And he doesn't actually own any Bitcoin. It takes a bit of time to get back into these kind of things. Getting away from your MacBook and getting a Librem is like selling your Honda for a Tesla. I mean, it's not going to be something if anybody's ever driven a Tesla, I've driven a few Teslas and they are really nice. I almost couldn't even look at the road. I just wanted to play with all the gadgets and gizmos and watch the doors go up. And, this isn't going to happen overnight. You're going to give it 72 hours max. Give it, by Monday morning, you'll be like, I don't want to go to work. I just want to stay here and just geek out. And I literally do not know anything about programming, and that's all I want to do now. So I'm like thinking maybe I should switch my profession. But yeah, you guys, this is not a joke. This isn't just like your buy your Walmart or your Target mainstream computer. This is something that was created by the hands of open sourced, intelligent geeks. The people that love to just talk about this kind of stuff and joke about it and go way over our heads. We're in the deep end, Max, and this is varsity. This is big deal stuff. This is Bitcoin. This isn't fiat. This isn't fake Bitcoin trash. So this is a real deal.
Oh yes, absolutely. And I do agree. There is a learning curve to all this, and right now I'm downloading all the new packages and updating for the first time. So this takes a bit, but again, this is only one of the many videos, and we are going to be honest and truthful with you. And well, all the packages, installing all them, compiling them from source as you should. So that is, just sometimes it's not going to be pretty, but it is a interesting tool, and I do believe that once you really get a hang of it, and once you find all the little quirks and nitty-gritty detail, then it is absolutely worth it. Well, it's been a pleasure so far. I'm really excited to check this out even further. And now that I no longer have to multitask I can actually sit down and enjoy this hardware to its fullest extent. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I will keep you up to date on all the experience that we have here so far. So Piers, again, I really want to thank you very much for supporting the WCN here on the Tallycoin and for getting this laptop. And again, I will hopefully make it up by all the videos that we have produced so far and all the videos coming very soon. So it was a pleasure talking to you and to y'all, and especially Rico. So Rico, any last words?
Yeah, just last thing I wanted to say, I was just thinking about it. You guys, as Max tweeted earlier, it's here. This is the walking through the Matrix. When Neo went from the Matrix, a pretty, the usability of living in the beautiful place, to the reality, it wasn't pretty. It was metal and it was hardcore, and he had to eat slop. And, he realized that the information is the control. So you guys, this is Max. This is the stepping into the real world, the real Matrix. Out of the Matrix, but into the real world. And I'm excited for both of us. And thank you for having me at the World Crypto Network. I will load this up to my channel for those of you who are on my channel. And merci beaucoup tout le monde. And peace out, guys.
Oh yes, absolutely. This is a nice tool to manage your information, and information is critical. And it's good that you have a tool that is adequately equipped for the world that we live in. And I do believe that this tool is a fascinating one. And again, I cannot wait to get my hands really onto it. And I have to glance over until it finishes updating. So, okay, Piers, again, thank you very much for supporting the show. Thank you very much for being active in the chat. That really means a lot. Thank you for being part of the team and sticking through the bear market where the price is crashing. Well, who cares? We're not in it for the price. Those that are at this moment, at this time, are the people that I treasure so much of calling my peers. Really, this is an honor to stand alongside you and to be joined by you in this fight for liberty. Tools like Bitcoin, tools like Purism are a treasure to have. And exploring these concepts with you all together as a network is a fascinating concept, and I enjoy every single second of it. So all you watching, all you in the chat, and especially all those supporters on Purism, thank you very much. And Piers, see you on the next show. Bye-bye.